Okay, so hi and welcome to this is episode 2 of my podcast series. It's myself, Andrew Edge, and you're my guest, Sarah. And firstly, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and then we can get going into the more
Okay.
nitty gritty stuff.
My name is Sarah Litwiller, and this is Dallas Lang, my
Hiya,
fiance.
hiya,
Good morning.
good morning.
He has an accent too. He's from down south.
My mom's from over there. Where are you from?
From the
She's from
UK.
Yeah.
Again, we have a huge range of accents over here, whether you're from the south or from the north. Obviously, a huge range of different accents over here, depending which city you come from. The Scouse
Uh,
one's
she
one of the
she was
worst
born
ones.
and raised in England.
Ah, thank you very
Um,
much.
Thank you. Mark was too. Marguerite's from Great Britain somewhere.
Okay,
It
and
was.
so how long have you been having issues with social services or?
Actually, Andrew, since 1986, when I was a kid myself, they refused to do anything to protect my sisters and I when my dad was abusing my mom and us kids. Um, we were put in foster care three separate times before we were taken away the last time. I was then adopted twice, once at 13 and once at 27 years old. My birth mom kept having me get pregnant for her, and I was dumb, didn't think anything about it.
Yeah,
I thought she just wanted a second chance to raise kids like we did, and I couldn't do it with my son at the time. I was raising two sets of twins on my own after leaving domestic. Um, so I figured a family adoption, probably would be okay. And then the state of Michigan started coming after me in 2015 when I left my second ex-husband because of domestic. They opened up a case against me instead of him
yeah,
and forced me to give my daughter Harlow up for adoption to the state of Michigan. And then when Abby was born 10 months after that, which they promised me they wouldn't do when they made me give Harlow up. They made me sign off on Harlow, and the only reason they took Harlow is because they inspected the wrong apartment after I left my ex-husband and went to the shelter. I was getting a housing voucher, and they inspected the wrong apartment and gave her to a gay couple,
Jesus.
making me sign off. And I don't have a problem with gay people,
No,
but these men have been involved in domestics themselves
yes,
and lost their foster license, so they should have never been given my child.
no,
Um, Abby, they came after when she was born, lying, stating that I had smoked marijuana and drank during my pregnancy. I don't drink when I'm not pregnant. I'm not a fan of alcohol,
yeah,
and I didn't smoke marijuana until it was legal here in Michigan, which is 5, 6 years ago.
yeah,
Abby was already 3, 4 years old at that time.
yeah,
I've never smoked around her. Um, I'm I don't smoke around a lot of people. It's just not something I do. I was brought up better than that. We're
yeah,
about the same age. We were brought you don't smoke around other people
no,
unless they smoke too. So I never smoked around my children. I'm not a drug addict, nothing like that. I got my high school diploma, was working on going to college.
yeah.
Um, but both of my fathers, my biological and my stepdad died in 2023 from COVID. I
I
got
feel
COVID.
for you.
My birth sister started coming and stealing stuff from my mom while I was trying to get stuff into probate court for my father's. And the cops refused to do anything. They didn't give a crap. Then somebody came out to my ex and my farm and poisoned our dog and two of our cows. Um, and then Abby said, she was touched. So I, as a mandated reporter, because I'm an ordained minister,
Yeah,
as a mandated reporter, I talked to both of the sheriffs personally on their Facebooks. They they were coworkers of my uncle before he passed away. He was one of the sheriff's deputies here. I grew up in the system, but both of my birth parents have families that have had homes since the 50s, 60s.
yeah,
I never expected all this crap from both my birth families and adopted families. And then when they took Abby again a couple years ago, we found out my birth family and my adopted families are all related.
Ouch.
That's something they don't let all these adopted kids know, is that, you're going to live with relatives. You might not know these relatives, but
Mm.
nobody told me
No.
until I was 45 when I found all this out. That, they keep stuff from adopted families or
Yeah.
from adopted kids here. I know for a fact they lie and they fill their heads with stuff because I was one of those kids they did it to.
Yeah.
Except I'm not gonna lie about people. My parents did do stupid stuff. My birth dad molested me very badly. He pimped me and my mom out
Yeah.
to his friend. Um, a lot of things since they took Abby from me the second time have been coming out um, in my memories, and they just keep blaming all this stuff that happened to me on me and saying I did it to her.
Yeah.
None of it is true. I've proven that. But the attorney that they gave me, she is a piece of crap. She has been defending a mother my age that my kids knew. The mother murdered her daughter in November when she was pregnant,
Yeah.
trying to steal the baby, but killed the baby. I know this is a worldwide problem.
Yes, it
I've
is.
been saying that since I was a kid. I have watched foster kids come up missing myself that I knew growing up. Nobody ever knew what happened to them, or they were murdered later on
Yeah.
because nobody gave a crap. They throw kids to the wolves after tearing their families apart. Parents are left wondering generally what the hell they've done wrong to deserve something like this.
Yeah.
I know, I still do, and I know they make this stuff up. I've been a part of this. I know their game, but I'm still left wondering, what did I do to deserve this? I take care of my grandkids every day.
Yeah.
I'm still fighting to get my daughter back. It'll be 3 years in March.
Yeah.
But because of it being over 2 years, they're trying to rush this. They're trying to rush along. They're all lying. They even accused me of stalking the foster parents
Mm.
because my oldest son that my daughter lived with temporarily for the first 2 years, him and his wife live right around the corner from the foster parents. So we go see my son and daughter-in-law occasionally when we're over there. And the foster parents, before they decided on the TPR, told the judge we were stalking them.
It's so
I
easy
had
to
no
do.
idea they even lived by my son.
Well, you would never know because obviously it's up to them where they place the child.
Right, we didn't even know. I had met them at a couple of the visits,
Yeah.
and that was it. But they believe everything they're told, and I know they do. All foster parents do for the most part, unless they actually take the time to get to know the foster or the biological parents and the kids and see where everybody says that. But 9 out of 10 times, the foster parents believe the stories and the lies,
Yeah.
whether
Well,
they're proven or not.
well, it's like we had a similar incident because obviously we at one stage used to walk when it was warmer in the summer months. We'd walk back
Yep.
from the contact centre. We'd stop on a bench to wait for the kids to drive past.
These people live 2 hours away from us, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, we'd sit on a bench, wait for the kids to drive past. They'd wave in the
Yep.
car on the way past. But then the foster care then accused us of stalking her. And obviously, but then how
Yep.
would we be stalking her on foot? Because she accused us of following her home. How can we follow her home on foot behind her in a car?
Right.
And the social believed her story. It's
Oh, they did
crackers
ours
because
too.
she deluded upstairs. But the stupid thing is, she was my eldest's teacher from his school that's looking after him.
They placed my Abby with her teacher, the second grade teacher, and her husband.
Yeah, I think it's corrupt because how can they get away with that? Because it shouldn't be a relationship like that. Because the teacher's obviously looking for bonus money for it because we
Yep.
know it's a money-making scheme.
And they made me sign power of attorney at the school when she was in second grade with my oldest daughter, who lives with us now. they made me sign power of attorney with her because I almost died after they made me leave my home and go. There was no openings at these DV shelters that they made me go to with her when my animals were poisoned. It was the cops not wanting to do their jobs.
Which is typical.
And I will call the dirty police out. I don't care. They are stalking women and children here in Michigan. They've been doing this for as long as I can remember. My mom was a social worker and worked for some of these shelters, and they weren't run like this 20, 30 years ago when my mom worked there, or I would have never went to one. But
we've got similar things over.
Sorry.
So you can look at the similarities over here because obviously we've had recently come out the grooming scandals where you look at there's links between the police are involved, the social workers are involved, every form of instances, everyone is involved in that story.
I was actually assaulted by one of the police officers 3 months after they took her. In the apartment they made me get after they made me go to the women's shelter, they made me get this housing voucher to get my own place.
Yeah.
And the apartment I moved into, I was sexually assaulted, and the cops refused to do anything. My ex and Dallas both came to help me and get the guy out of my apartment.
Yeah.
Because nobody would make him leave. I don't know if he was on drugs or not. But the neighbors all knew what was going on, said they would help us if we needed help, and then turned on us and started harassing us after the CPS worker came to do a home visit.
Yeah.
And then Dallas and I were assaulted by these neighbors, and they accused us of calling a 2-year-old the N-word. I'm not white.
Yeah.
I am Native American, African American, and Jewish.
Yes.
I'm not white. So why would I call a 2-year-old a name anyways?
Yeah.
They're children.
Yeah. Understand that.
I know there's really crappy people out in the world, but to lie on people like us?
Yeah.
Not everybody is a shit parent.
Yeah.
Why not focus on the shit parents instead of letting those kids die?
Yeah. I understand that because there are far worse parents out there who literally do rely on drugs day in and night, and literally they have their kids, yet the social do nothing about them. But people who've had false allegations and their kids taken, and obviously for me now it's 5 years, and I don't think I'll ever see my kids again till they're 16 to 18 years of age. But that's because of Cheshire Western.
I can't go through it again myself either.
Yeah. That's why bringing things...
I watched my son die when he was 2. I can't.
Yeah. I do feel for you because I know how hard the systems are. Like over here, the family courts, which I understand are probably similar to the courts your side, they're not in our favour. They're built against us. That's why it's better for us now. Anything we can do online, we can come together as a unit, raise these stories up to fight against the system. And then the stories are out there, they can be shared far and wide. And then more people can see how bad the system is. The more people see the broken system, maybe more people be willing to stand up in the long run. Because obviously, yes, I don't know how many people will start in this first.
Have you guys seen the story about the people here in Michigan? The man that killed his wife and 6 kids over the weekend?
I haven't, no. If you can post a link to it.
Children were adopted from China. This man was working for the American Heart Association, cheating on his wife, was an alcoholic. His wife just took their 2 adopted children to China to see their birth family a couple weeks ago. She was planning on leaving him, and he shot all of them and set the house on fire, killing himself.
Oh.
This isn't the first time this has happened in Michigan, and that's with adopted families, and they're trying to figure out why us adoptees are so angry.
Yeah.
Well, you follow the same families.
Yeah.
You follow kids who are adopted and take their kids away from them.
Yes.
This is systemic abuse.
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is worse than what my father did because you guys have been doing it my whole life.
Yes.
Just like you've done to several other people. You're taking kids from families who love them and you're telling these kids that their families don't care.
Mm.
That's what you did to me, and I thought nobody cared about me my whole life. I'm going to be 48 this year.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it means for somebody to actually love me because I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
You're breaking kids at this point. They're not fixing anybody.
No. Because kids out there will have the original parents that do love them. It's just they're not being allowed to be reunited because
Exactly.
because there's corrupt social workers out there that don't want the reunification because it's better for them to keep themselves in jobs, and it's
Do they promise everybody reunification and then switch up to TPR last minute like they did to me?
yeah. Well, they said to my mum, straight away, oh, we're looking at reunification in the April the first. This was for 5 years ago, and then but the problem was she didn't say April of which year. That was the problem. Because if she said April 2030, it'd be more realistic. But she was the same woman that assaulted my eldest.
Oh my god.
Because my child still remembers the assault, and obviously
Yep.
that's why I'm pushing it on here, the assault charge, and I'm going through the complaints procedures because obviously they've got to be brought down because obviously, and I don't care if my child's even willing to stand up in court against them because assault is
Right.
assault.
Yeah, see, when we were assaulted because then the police did nothing. Instead, they locked me in a mental health hospital saying I had psychosis and I was delusional about CPS.
Well, my eldest is now basically in his because both children are now separated. I say what the youngest is living with the eldest's teacher. The eldest is now living in what is classed as a mental institution, on a what is classed as a dolls arrangement, which takes all your liberties away. So he now
Yeah.
can't escape. He's got to have his windows locked, doors locked, and they can physically tie him down and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. And it's not. I don't think it's legal what they're doing to him. He doesn't
No.
like it, but that's why he wants out of there. But they don't listen to him.
When they took Harlow away from me and my girls when they were 16, they placed Angie in a home for girls. Um, typically girls that are prostitutes or being trafficked.
Yeah.
And the only one that was trying to traffic her was DHS's volunteer driver. He tried seducing her, and the foster mom at that back then let her boyfriend come live, her ex-boyfriend from high school that I dated in 89, 90. Um, was sleeping with the foster parent's biological daughter, who was 15 at the time, 16, and tried seducing my child.
Jesus.
So they put her in a home for girls that were prostituting and stuff. Like, my daughter didn't do nothing. Then they forced her to get on birth control like they did me. She's still, like, because of having some good foster homes, my daughter still thinks they are saviors, though. But she's like, why do they keep doing this to us? I'm trying to tell you this, child. Like, they do this to everybody.
Yeah.
You think I was lying back then? I'm not lying about anything now either. Only now that I've proven everything, now they're using my fiance against me, saying he's a pedophile. Straight up accused him of being a pedophile. Like, has told everybody he is a pedophile. There's nothing there.
Have you still got all the paperwork though?
Yes, sir.
That's the best thing. As long as you keep a paper trail, that's the best thing. Because if you ever
Yes,
do
sir,
go
we
down
do.
a complaints route, make sure you keep that because the paper trail
We
is
need
the
to file
best.
a complaint for harassment. I think we have to do it with their business, with and we have to do an internal complaint first.
Yeah. Because like over here, we have to do 3 stages and then we have to go to what's called an ombudsman, which the first 3 stages are
The
corrupt.
ombudsman here doesn't do anything. use the fact that I gave my mom two of my kids to adopt when they were little.
Mm.
They told me that's why they keep coming after me.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave my mother rights, so there's a difference in relinquishing your rights and being forced.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah, the ombudsmans are just as bad as anybody around here. They're in with them. The gals are part of it. The guardian lit them for Abby. I grew up with her. Her cousin was my foster sister,
Yeah.
and the judge was my attorney
Yeah.
when I was a kid. So there's conflict of interest in that case. When they in the case was my 12-year-old Harlow, the prosecutor ended up turning into the judge in my case.
Jesus.
Lots of conflict of interest. And the
Yeah.
guardian at Little back then was my attorney as a child as well. So both attorneys knew me when I was a kid in foster care and being adopted. And the one I had with Harlow, Susan, refused to let me get on the stand and tell my story as a kid about my father and all the dirty cops that were molesting all of us kids and getting away with murder. They
Mm.
murdered my aunt and got away with it in
Mm.
1983.
That's the thing I've noticed. They never allow the children to talk, and throughout ours, they've never allowed our eldest to get up. If they'd
Exactly.
allowed the eldest and kids to talk, they'd find these cases fall
Yep.
apart straight away. And I think that's where laws need to be changed to adopt
Exactly.
these things. But I don't think it's going to be an easy thing, an easy fix, because family courts and that way they don't want them to change. Just like they've hidden them away from the public for so long. Because like the family court over here, I don't know whether it's similar to what you've got over there. Is it hidden away from like the press and everything? They can't show it to the public.
My stuff is all it's all sealed. They won't even let me get all my public records. They've denied me twice.
Hmm.
I gave up trying because I was trying to get all my public records to figure out why they keep coming after me. Like, am I adopted more than twice? Nobody will tell me anything.
Hmm.
And I wondered because on both of my birth parent sides, there's a history of my family having homes or being put in homes. And that goes back to my great grandmother, or no, my great great grandmother in New York, who was one of the first indigenous tribal members
But
or
under
tribal leaders.
but under freedom of information, you should be able to get that.
They've denied me, Andrew. They denied me and locked me up in a mental hospital when I was trying to get my records.
Because I know who's a huge supporter of getting that sort of stuff. Because obviously, I know the one person a lot of people do have either like or dislike is obviously Elon, but he's a huge advocate for making sure people do get their stuff. But I know of freedom of speech, freedom of speech
Yep.
union. Whether are they
We
in
don't.
America freedom of speech
Our
union?
freedoms are being stripped from us. They truly are.
Mm.
I've tried. They've gagged. I told my lawyer. I got rid of the bitch a week ago. Pardon my French,
Yeah.
but I got a new attorney on Thursday of last week. Finally, I've been reaching out or telling my judge for 2 years I want a different attorney. This attorney has done nothing to represent me. She even had me blocked when I was trying to send her proof for the past 2 years. She will
Jesus.
block my email until she emails me herself. Um, I've been sending her proof from like the last 5 years of everything that's gone on, how the cops haven't done anything. I was in the shelters I was in. There were women in there doing drugs, getting in my daughter's face while they're high on these drugs, and they were bringing men in, and
It's
the advocates were partying with these men and the women outside of the shelter.
it's as if they're kind of all working together, isn't it? As if she
They
isn't
are
really
all work,
interested.
but because I've been trying to blow it out in the open the past 2 years, she threatened to put me in a mental hospital again last week when I told her they were all evil. They're all in on it together, and
Mm.
I know because I grew up in the system. I've been watching this.
Mm.
They threatened to put us in jail. They throw me in jail.
Mm.
They lied and said I was harassing the workers. What, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when they locked me up in this mental hospital. I didn't have a phone because they were hacking my phone.
Mm.
So Dallas took my SIM card out, broke my SIM card, and threw my phone in the river. And I started using his phone
Yeah.
to look stuff up. While I was in this mental hospital, somehow they were getting messages that they blamed on me, threatening them and their children.
Jesus.
How? Y'all had me locked up. How do you think it was me?
There's ways they can fake stuff because with the technology you've got these days, things can be faked quite easily. But obviously there are ways you can prove it's not yours because you can look at the digital footprints
Yeah.
to prove it's not yours. But you'd have to get it more deep dived, and you can get it proven.
Right.
Cause
I know when we were assaulted, we both had really bad concussions. I did have a bit of amnesia, but it wasn't just amnesia. It's because of me being adopted twice and my name changing 6 times. I had a hard time explaining to them everything that was going on. But I'm autistic as well.
yeah,
I've been autistic my whole life. I've had ADHD my whole life. So I can't always articulate without tapping my nose or
yeah,
something. And so they just assumed because that they're they assumed I was retarded or something. I'm assuming, or I was on drugs. I don't know. They told even my 17-year-old daughter at that point. She was sneaking grown men into my mom's house. She was the one my mom adopted.
yeah.
Grown men, my daughter was thinking it, and they wouldn't do anything about it. But she's the one that told them Dallas and I were on drugs, lying about the assault.
Mm.
We just found this out a couple days ago when I got my 911 records.
It'd
But
been
that's because she was being told that I'm a drug addict.
It'd been simpler to have done a drug test on you because then that'd have
They've
proved it.
done drug tests. They were all my drug tests for the last 10 years have been negative, other than the marijuana for the past 4 years, which I'm open about. It's legal here.
Yeah. Well, if it's legal, they haven't got a leg to stand on them.
Right.
Because all right,
So
if
I've
you've
just
come
been
up
trying to
positive,
reach out, speak my truth, and tell my story.
yeah,
Because knowing we're not alone, that's how we're all, like you said, that's how we're all gonna do something to reform this.
yeah. Because say once I've got this produced, and I will get it online. I'll get it onto the group, and then at least you can have your copy to share out to as many people your end. Because then we can get it global effectively.
I know people in the music and entertainment industry if we want to like really get it out there.
If you can do that, be perfect. Because obviously, the more famous people we can get it out to,
Yeah.
and then obviously that'll make the channel
I've
go.
been scared too because of the gag orders. I because I know it's not just us they come after. They come after our families. I've seen it firsthand.
Well, I'm not
I don't
scared.
want them coming after my grandchildren. If they come after my grandkids, I might go to prison. I really might.
Yeah. Well, the social threatened will try to silence me and my channel. Unfortunately, they failed because
Yeah.
obviously they tried to put a full gagging order on me. The judge actually said I can't gag you because obviously there's certain things you're not allowed to say, like the children's names, which you're not doing. You can't say where the children are living. And obviously I've agreed I will never publish things like that.
Right.
So yeah, I can continue doing what I'm doing because I'm allowed to even slate the judge. I'm allowed to slate the social workers and basically say they're the biggest crooks, they're the biggest pieces of shit in history.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm allowed to do that. So yes, I'm allowed to continue doing my videos as I am. So I will continue doing what I'm doing. And that's why if it can get passed on to people like that, yes, I'll fight it, and I don't mind who comes to me. I'm big enough and ugly enough to fight my own battles.
I've been speaking out to people that are running for office positions, elected officials, we'll say. Some of them have known me since I was a kid, and they are continuing to tell me to come forward with my story because they know too. They've been through it with their children or grandkids as well.
Yeah.
And they know it's the crooked officials that we have in office.
Yeah.
My I'm not afraid to speak out. I'm afraid for my children and my grandchildren.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the repercussions against them.
Yeah, that's why if we don't name the
I
children,
will die for my family.
that's fine. That's why I say don't name the physical children. If we just do it under our names for now, and
Yeah.
and then obviously go from there, because that's just being done under our names, and then we can fight it. Because obviously, yeah, I've got a political banner in the background, but that's because I'm politically affiliated. I'm not scared to show that
It
side of
doesn't
me.
bother me whatsoever. I'm Native American and they use the fact that I'm Native American against me. So
Yeah,
I probably my whole house is native
yeah.
looking or I look like an old hippie. My great grandmother was cousins with John Lennon, so
Oh, nice. Well, that's
yeah.
he was only lived up the road from myself because obviously I live just south of Liverpool. So
That's amazing. I my whole life I've wanted to go. My brother-in-law Marv, his mother was from Liverpool as well. Marguerite, she passed away probably 10 years ago. But if you know any of the Polands, those are my in-laws.
oh,
Yeah,
I do know a few Polands. There was
I
a
don't remember all of Marguerite's family, but they live there. That's my brother-in-law Marvin's family.
because there's a few that married into the one married into I think might not be generally the same part of the family, but one married into my dad's side of the family. But that was for quite a bit down the line. But
Okay. Well, yeah, this was back in the 90s when I knew everybody.
yeah.
When she'd come visit Michigan, she would always make sure we all had our tea on. So, huh? His, Dallas's families are the Nolans over there.
Ah, that's normally quite an Irish name, to be fair.
That's what I thought too.
We're in Ireland, Scotland, England.
Yeah.
And the Donnelly, my mom's family, the Donnellys, they're Irish as well, but they're not my mom's biological family.
My family had a big empire.
Whereas we tend to just come from the northwest mainly.
Yeah,
But
we'll go one of these days.
yeah, it's a good area because we've got access to everything in the northwest. You've got the beautiful Welsh coastline, and then you've got the major
You're
cities,
making me
Liverpool,
jealous, mate.
Manchester. So we've got the best of everything here. So for travel, it's easy, but then it's only a tiny island, is what we live on.
That's okay.
But
I love the islands. That's on our bucket list. One of these days we're gonna take all the kids and the grandkids.
yeah, well, I'd say it's easy to get around if you ever come over here. It's so easy. That's the
As long as I
advantage.
don't have to drive a stick.
Yeah. Well, you do automatic cars over here these days. More and more of the cars are automatic, to be honest.
Good.
So you can rent anything these days that because the companies let you do everything to please everyone. That's the
My
advantage.
brother-in-law was always about the sticks, and I'm like, no, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Can't do them.
That's why we have a lot of Americans that do come over to this country. To be fair, more each year.
Right.
So it's nice to have people come over, and it's a very historic country. So it's nice for people to come and
I'm all
visit.
about the haunted stories over there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Lots of places I thought about checking out and doing some. I'm a seer,
Yeah.
and an empath. I was born that way, and
Yeah.
yeah, always been a dream of mine since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Want
Well,
to see where Jack the Ripper lived.
yeah. Well, there's also the full Roman Empire side of things that's worth seeing because, like, Chester is the one of the capital bits of the Roman Empire, and it's still actually quite a bit still built because it's the
Oh
full
wow!
because the full walls are still there. So it's the only walled
Nice.
city
See,
left because they
See,
still
you're making me happy. You're telling me stories. I like to learn.
Yeah, because they've kept the full walls around the city, the original city. Oh,
That's awesome.
got bigger outside the original city, but
Okay.
and you can see where the original dockland was, where the ships used to moor up on what is
Oh.
now a race course. But you can see where the water rose, but there's no water there anymore.
Yep. There's a few places here that way too.
But it's fascinating because the Romans used to have own the UK and then disappeared. But
I never knew that. Well, I mean, nothing surprises me, but yeah, we were not really taught that here, so.
the Roman Empire was massive, and then it fell and disappeared back to Rome, and then eventually disappeared altogether. But again,
My pastor
it's
just
a nice thing
messaged
to
me.
come and learn about. But if you, again, there's plenty of cities around the country that have little bits.
Right.
But again,
My pastor just messaged me. He's praying for all of us.
oh,
He's one of the
fantastic!
few ministers, man. I know a lot of ministers don't care, but he's been watching me go through this since I was a kid.
Yeah,
He actually took over for the pastor. Um, he was the old pastor molested some of us kids in this town. Um, and this guy, Pastor Tim, he's amazing. He knows how evil they are. He's watched so many people go through this in the court, Andrew. Like
yeah,
he just doesn't understand. But he taught me something when I was a kid that will always. They really are evil, and they will come after your kids
yeah,
over and over to keep you from speaking your truth.
yes,
Um, the government, the schools, and he, like I said, he told me this back when I was a kid. I must have been 12 or 13. Um, he told me this, and he had me listen to a song called the "Silent Running" by Mike and the Mechanics.
I know Mike the Mechanics. My dad got me into them.
Silent Running, listen to it.
Yeah, I will do.
Um, since they took Abby, it's something that plays over and over in my head, and it really speaks about what's going on. It's all of them are evil. I don't care anymore. They
Yeah,
want to throw me in the mental health hospital for saying, dude, you're all demonic. You are breaking up loving homes. You're forcing children to go through something traumatic. You're tearing their souls apart.
mm,
You're breaking people's souls. Is what you're doing. That is evil.
yeah.
That is demonic. That is not what God intended.
No, it's not. Because we were born to be a family unit, and that's how we were born to progress.
And amen. I'm an ordained minister. I believe in all religions,
Mm.
but all religions teach you that same thing, that your family is your family.
Yeah,
And God gives those children to us
yeah,
to be responsible for, to take care of, to teach them to grow up to be loving human beings.
yes, that's correct.
And that's not what the system does.
No.
It doesn't teach love.
No, it seems to have gotten broken somewhere down the line, and it's got a sinking feeling that it's got no way of recovery, especially at the moment. And
No.
I don't know whether it's institutionally broken or if you know it's morally broken, but
I think it's both.
yeah, it's just how to
This world is just so evil anymore, and when you have people like that in positions of power and that
Yeah.
money and the greed gets to their head.
yeah. It just because I know over here it's because you've had so many people in the same positions for decades. That's
Right.
the issue, because obviously it needs a whole wipeout of the entire system and refreshing the system from start to finish.
Exactly.
And then
I met people in Australia going through it, and Ireland going through it. I've been meeting people in Canada for a couple months now. They're all going through it. It's an epidemic.
yeah, that's why, because with the party I'm supporting, obviously we've only got what 8 politicians at the minute, but if we can take power of this country, we can change the direction of everything, because
Yeah.
we seem to have got a lot of councillors, which are the bottom level of things. But if we can get
Yeah.
into the councils at every level, we can then wipe the scum out, and then we can change the way it's going. But we haven't managed to
Yeah.
get in here where I live yet because our elections aren't till next year. That I was,
Yeah, I think ours are midterms right now, but that's lower level elections
but then
for
midterms are just
prosecutors
as
and whatnot.
important. Yeah, they're just as important because if you can,
They are. We're reaching out to them as well.
yeah,
Some of them don't want to get back to any of us parents. They blow us off.
yeah,
I'll go meet with them. I will follow them if I have to. I
mm,
get my paycheck this weekend, and I will drive to Lansing, which is the state capital,
yeah.
to start meeting with them if need be.
It just depends which
Hi.
party
Good morning, honey.
It just depends which party it is, doesn't it? Because I know you've got the Republicans and the
No,
Democrat.
they're all dirty here.
Mm,
Republicans and Democrats are just as bad.
mm,
But I will say I have gone from being a Democrat or middle of the road. I'm full blown Republican because at this point some of them are trying to get things done.
yeah.
Who would have thought? But
it changes all the time, doesn't it?
I usually try to stay libertarian, middle of the road, something, and I judge by the person.
Yeah.
But you can't do that anymore.
No.
You just can't.
It's impossible to do.
What? Yeah, he knows I have my counseling appointment.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously what I can do is obviously I can actually start wrapping this up. So obviously we've had a good chat. We've understood where you're at. Obviously, if you do have any obviously final questions you want to ask myself or anything like that.
Where'd it go? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So if you've got any other final questions you want to ask myself, obviously you're more than welcome, and then we can bring it to an end.
Not that I can think of at the moment. I just think we all need to keep doing what we're doing and get our stories out there.
That's fine, no problem. But thanks very much for this, Sarah. This has been a fantastic experience with yourself, and obviously I'd like to say thank you and goodbye. And we'll have,
thank you.
And if you ever want to do a second episode, just hit me up and we can always do a second episode, no problem.
Honestly, that we'll probably do one with Dallas because I have a feeling he's dealing with family courts trying to get custody of his daughter. He's had a hard time getting his divorce because she uses his daughter against him. The same way my ex-husband did. And her sister works for the government doing this. She works for CPS here.
Okay.
And has completely denied him his fatherly rights.
Okay. Well,
his ex-wife is a drug addict. She's been on meth for probably 5 years and keeps locking both of her daughters out of the house. And the same workers who keep coming at me are refusing to do anything about her.
Okay, well, if you can set that up, obviously, I'm happy to do one with them. No problem.
I'll add him to the group.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll leave you to it. Thank you and goodbye.
All right, you have a blessed day, Andrew.
And you too. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.